Hi, I'm Maya Dion, and I am your Bounceback Widow Coach. I'm the CEO and founder of Widows Do Bounce Back, and here we help people grow in the gap that grief left behind. If you're looking for how to grow forward and you're just not sure where to start, I've got amazing tools for you. I'm here as your queen of how of all things widow to help you map your how to doing the things that define growth, happiness, and peace for you going forward. Be sure to check out my channel on Instagram and on Facebook, and check out the links below to find me elsewhere on the web. If you're looking for membership or community or even events and retreats, please check out the links below. It's all there in the description. Make sure you stay to the end of the video. I've got some goodies in that for you, and I'll see you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Here we go. Hi, I'm Maya Dion, your favorite widow coach, and I'm here to talk today about dating in widow land. And I realize that is a touchy subject, and because we're widows and we have all kinds of things that we're dealing with as far as the feelings and the habits and the day-to-day that come with being widowed. And so the last thing you would think that we be concerned about is dating, but eventually we do get there. A lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us do get there. And in getting there, the biggest questions I get as a widow coach is, what do I say on this first date? What do I not say on this first date? Assuming that I get to a place where I want to actually go out on a date, because I don't think it's hard to find someone to date. Not really, because I think men have it a little harder than we do when it comes to just, allowing guys to take us out. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this part out because maybe it's not sensitive to everybody, but I haven't had any woman tell me, "Oh, I just can't find anybody that wants to date me." Because usually when you were a wife, you're wife material, and you give off a certain "I got this, I don't need anybody" that to be happy. And initially that's attractive. So I don't think that, because every woman I've has told me, sidebar, "Oh yeah, I've got guys coming out of the woodworks from high school." And my friends' friends or his friends, my late husband's friends that were supposed to be not looking at me like that, but suddenly are all interested. Like, finding a guy is not normally the problem. The problem is, what do I say that doesn't give off baggage red flags? What do I say that doesn't make me seem like I'm still so enamored and so entangled and so unavailable that I can't date and that it doesn't make sense for me to date? What do I say that doesn't make this seem like it's a rebound, just something to do? Because even though that person may be down for that, that's not really where you want to be. So that's what we want to talk about today. 3 things that on the first date you can say and initiate as conversation that don't come across as needy, closed off, or having a whole bunch of baggage. Let's go. Let's get into it. So, scoot up here. Get real comfortable with you. So, I think the first thing that comes into question is, okay, so you're sitting at a restaurant and you're talking, and he says, "Okay, so tell me about you." And maybe you haven't told them that you're widowed yet. The first question is, do I have to tell them I'm widowed? Do I have to tell them all of the gory details? Because the first thing people ask when you tell them you're widowed is, "Oh, what happened?" Do I really want to sit here and cry in my spaghetti? Most of the time, the answer is no. And so, what I would say here is talk about what you're comfortable talking about. And this might require you to practice like beforehand to the conversation. So, I think you should probably practice, and this is going to sound weird, but practicing what you want to say about yourself is key, because if you already know who you are and you already know what you stand for and what you want, you're going to be able to either know right away if this person is vibing with that and not your representative. What do I mean? So when we go on dates, we bring our representative most of the time. We bring the perfect, unbothered, unneedy version of yourself that you think will sell. And the problem with that is if that's not really you, you will ask for things that you don't really want. What will you ask for? You'll say things like, oh, I don't know what I really want. I'll just take things as they come. You don't want that. You don't want that because what will happen is you're inviting this person to treat you like whatever. You're inviting this person to basically just sometimes you, breadcrumb you, second option you, and you're saying, oh, yes, I'm cool with that. Let's be honest and upfront and say, I'm fine with that. You're not because you're going to be calling me, boo-hooing on the phone. He won't call me. He won't pick me. He's not putting me first. And if that's not if what you want is to be put first, you want to be with somebody who is receptive and responsive because you were married and you had a relationship like that, where you're not looking for the exact same relationship, but you're looking for a similar type of communication. You're looking to be clear. You're looking to not play games. You're looking to not necessarily get married right away because a lot of us aren't ready for that, but we are looking for a relationship that is going to be nurturing to our mindset right now. And what is your mindset right now? Are you still grieving? Are you practicing habits that may make him uncomfortable? For example, like, do you go and sit and meditate and pray with your late husband's pictures at a certain time every day? Is this something you want to share? Are you still going with the kids to do things like, oh, it's his birthday, we're going to go and fly kites? Are you willing to share that activity with him, with a new person? If not, then that's actually not part of the persona that we want to bring right now, right? What we want to bring is who we are and what we're willing to share. Because honestly, isn't that what we want to know about them? So back to the bullets. First thing, you want to know who you are. Not even if, because we are widows, we tend to attach our identity to being widowed and being sad. And you now see that as you've lived a little and you're ready for something new, you are not always sad. Therefore, you have redefined what widowhood means. So, what being a widow in your life right now means to you as far as habits, boundaries, preferences, day-to-day scheduling, parenting, all those things, that's your new persona. That's who you're bringing to this conversation. And so if you don't necessarily need to say, I'm widowed and so, you need to probably just say what the so is. For example, if I'm on this date, hey, how you doing? We're talking. Yes, so tell me about you. I say, well, I am in a space in my life right now where I'm prioritizing me. I'm super into like spa things and hiking, and just started jujitsu. I just started a jujitsu class. My kids are into jujitsu as well, and they're loving it. They're going through whatever, about to get on their third belt or something, and I'm really excited about that. At work, I'm doing blah blah blah, and I don't really like this job. I think I might la 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 la, and I'm in a space right now where I'm discovering XYZ about myself. What my boundaries are right now. Actually, we're not even talking about boundaries yet. We'll save that for an extra question in the conversation. So, and that's where you can start. That's the answer to the question. Tell me about you. Not, well, I just got through this, a really bad time, really rough patch, and I lost my husband. Yeah, it was Easter Sunday and we were running. No, I'm not saying, hear me when I say, I'm not saying nobody wants to hear your story. What I'm saying is, if this embarrasses you, to not the story itself, but to be in a space where you are having to be emotionally vulnerable about that moment that he passed, or about the fact that he passed, or about how the emotional space you're in now, if that is not really where you want to go, especially since that person that you're dating has not gone there with you yet, then you probably want to roll back, slow down, and really answer their question. Who are you right now? Right? So that's the first thing. Know who you are, be able to answer the question, tell me more about yourself, right? Good. The second thing is boundaries. So the conversation is probably going to get flirty, and he's probably going to start talking about, what are y'all doing later? Or what do you expect out of this relationship? Where is this trying to go? So, get a feel for where is this going. And even you can bring that up if you want to. So, not in a like pushy, where is this going? Are you trying to use me? Like, what do you want from me? Like, don't be weird. Okay. And some of us do, in an attempt to make sure we're laying down our boundaries, we make it weird. Okay. Don't make it weird. Okay. So here's how to not make it weird about your boundaries, especially when we're talking about scheduling. We're talking about whether or not they can meet your kids and family. We're talking about how much information they can know about you, because some of us are out here getting scammed by men that are looking for someone that is vulnerable like us in this situation and want to use us for money, and obviously sex, our bodily and physical boundaries, right? And so as far as scheduling, that's where you can say, well, you can bring it up just like this. Here we go. So I have been in a long-term relationship before, and that long-term relationship taught me things about boundaries. Let me ask you, what are your boundaries? And if you need like me to tell you mine first so you can like know what I'm asking for, I could do that. That's totally cool, right? And so he says, oh yeah, let me tell me yours first. Cool. So you say, okay, so my boundaries are basically the bubble around my life, my scheduling, my kids, my my body, and my mental space, my money, all the things that make things work. So as far as my personal information, my like money and stuff, like what I'm really working with, I'm probably not going to divulge a whole lot. I just met you. The same way you're not going to tell me about yours. I'm not really, going to be like, oh, I got this in my account. And I'm not the type of woman to be like, can I borrow, such and such money? So we'll probably leave money out of the situation. We want to go Dutch here if you want, or you can pay if you feel gentlemanly. It's fine. But let's establish what we're doing about the money thing now, so that we, can see, because, and you can even go into, well, the long-term relationship I was in, we had joint accounts. So we did this, or we did that. You can even say I was married. But that's going to lead down a road of, well, what happened? Why are you not married anymore? And sidebar, that question may come up. Why are you single? But we'll get to that one in the third one, right? Okay. So coming back to boundaries, we'll talk about time. I expect to probably date maybe 2 to 3 times a week, or maybe once a week, because I have kids, or because I have this job, or whatever your expectation is of dating, once a however often, weekly, or even monthly. Maybe you don't have that kind of time. Establishing what kind of time you have is boundaries, and saying, I'm not the type, or I am the type to sleep over, or, maybe not sleep over, whatever your preference is. This is the time to talk about it. What do you expect him to expect from you of your time? Basically meaning, don't, be late. If that's a thing for you, don't be late to our date, because this is the only time I have to kick it. And if you're going to be disrespectful of my time, I'm going to be mad. So you can talk about that, and so on and so forth. The next thing is my body. We're adults, and you cute or whatever. You can say that, or not. You can say, this is what I expect. Sexually. I am either devout Christian and not really looking for that right now, really looking for companionship and, la la la, somebody to, whatever you're really looking for in real life. Because I'm gonna tell you something, with sexual boundaries, The biggest issue that we have, that I have noticed as a coach for women, is being afraid they won't be accepted, being afraid we will be rejected based on our strong boundaries. We will be seen as a prude, be seen as someone who, oh, what you won't do, someone else will. And honestly, do you want that guy? Do you? Do you want the guy that's like, well, what you won't do, someone else will? I mean, superficially, he may be fine. But when you think about it, do you want that guy to be in your emotional space? Do you want that guy to be the guy you depend on? Someone who would so quickly discard you for something you won't give to him, right? So what we want to do is make sure that we are absolutely 100% sure what our boundaries are and we stick to them. Because the key to undoing your happiness and peace about something is to cross your own boundaries. Yes, that is how you undo happiness. When you cross your own boundaries, when you allow people their influence and their opinions to trample over the boundaries that you have, and you rewrite your boundaries to fit in with what they want, you will be unhappy, you will be dissatisfied, you will feel compromised, and the decisions you make about them, you will second guess because they are not your original thoughts. They are not your original boundaries. It's okay to modify boundaries as long as they actually jive with who you are and what you want, and not just, I'm trying to fit in with him. So maybe ask yourself that. Am I just trying to be liked? Am I just trying to be chosen? Am I just trying to be wanted? Am I just trying to be seen as sexy? Ask yourself that, and then compare that with what your boundaries are. Most of the time, your boundaries are steering you right. I only say most of the time because maybe there's an exception out there. Every time my boundaries have steered me in the right direction, right? Cool. So I think that's everything. Your time, your kids. They're kids. So some people ask me, should I even tell them I have kids or, not? I can say that in my marriage now, when I met my now husband, we were friends, and we told each other both that we were not looking for who we were mutually, because I was looking for a man with kids because I didn't want anybody experimenting or trying out or unknowledgeable about children around my kids, practicing on them. They deserve better than that. And he didn't want someone with kids already, because usually in his narrative of what that looks like, there's a baby daddy involved, there's drama, there's some sort of something broken in that woman that made her single in the first place. We're not even going to unpack all of those stereotypes. We're just going to say that that's what they are because they are. So there's that. That's the stigma on women. We can't just be single for no reason. We can't just be single moms because it happened. This is what they're thinking when, so that's what he told me. And I didn't tell him at the time that I was widowed. Not at first. It's like a first couple of conversations, and this is just like online. This is before we met in person. And he was like, yeah, I'm not looking for a woman with kids. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not looking for a guy without kids. And there may have been defensive answers on both of our parts. They may have been, well, I don't want you. Well, I don't want you either. But if we were both being honest, they weren't really things that were off the table. We were just bringing our representative, whatever seemed the most, attractive or the most independent or the most perfect version of ourselves. I say all that to say, there are relations or people I dated that I did tell about my kids, but my boundary was no one was meeting my kids in person unless things were absolutely serious. And for me, absolutely serious meant I've been dating you and seeing you for over 6 months, pretty much almost a year. That is when my now husband met my youngest, or met my kids. I brought him to my youngest son's birthday party. And it was like we had been talking and dating for a year. And that's when he met him. He was 3 years old when he met him. So, and my oldest was 5 years older than 3 years, 8. So that's when he met him. So, and my story, that I was widowed a year before that. So I would say, what is your boundary? What would you like your kids to be able to take from the experience that they see you dating in? Do they want to know, or what do you want them to take from that? Do you want them to take from it that mommy was discerning, mommy was not desperate, mommy had boundaries, mommy was friends with this person first? Like, what do you want them to get from it? Whatever you want them to get from it, that's what you present. If you don't have kids, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you do, I think that that is a question you need to ask yourself before you start dating, and have that be your bar every time. I think that's it. So that second thing that we need to be able to say to not embarrass ourselves and look like we are know what we do, look like we know what we're doing, and actually get something positive out of dating. That's the second thing. Know your boundaries. Be able to talk about boundaries. The third thing, what did I say the third thing was? Oh, the answer to why are you single? So the answer to why are you single is probably going to knee jerk. The answer to why are you single is probably going to trigger your knee jerk response. The reason that it did for me was because I didn't want to be put in a box. I didn't want to be put into the box with the women that did not represent my story. Um, as a woman of color, my story was different than, and I worked very hard for this story to be different than what the stereotype was. Being a single mother is something that is almost projected onto us as women of color. And, to back away from that in general, it's something that, and when you see a single mother, there is no positive connotation. She could have went or gone to a sperm bank and decided, I'm going to be a mom. But nobody assumes that. Everyone always assumes there's a relationship that went wrong. There's a dysfunction somewhere in who she is, and she is struggling trying to make this work with her and her baby. I didn't want any parts of that box, because not only does everybody not fit into that category, and that stereotype is overdone and overused and frustrating and problematic, it wasn't me. I was definitely not that. So I was very defensive at first dating. As soon as people asked me, well, why are you single? I'm saying, well, my husband passed. Why are you single? Like, it was attitude, it was neck, it was head popping, it was everything. So I say, and I probably scared people away. Honestly, in my honesty, I was standing strong on my boundaries and scaring away the right people, the ones that I didn't want in my life. So it worked in a way that was good, because eventually when I did tell the man that I did marry, it was not a problem for him. Other issues about that came about, but they came to the surface because we were ready to talk about them then, right? First date is not the time. To me, I feel like first date is not the time, or first conversations are not really the time to talk about their stereotypes and hangups about people that are widowed. Which those stereotypes and hangups might be, oh, you're still in love with him. Oh, I have to compete with him. Oh, you're not, this is just a rebound and this is not serious. You're just, I don't want to say sowing your oats because we don't have any oats to sow. But that those are the stereotypes. And that's not really, to me, where I want to be, because or oh, they feel sorry for you and feel like, oh, well, I can't leave her now, and you feel like everything they do is basically just sympathy, and that's not what you want. So I think the safest answer to why are you single now is because is to say, without being too misleading or too closed off or hiding things, would just be to say, well, I was in a long-term relationship. I was married, or however you want to put it, and I'm not anymore. I'm not really interested in talking about why or what happened right now. I think that as we get to know each other, that eventually can come about. But suffice to say that I was in a relationship. I'm not anymore. I've gotten past that relationship. there are things that I'm growing into in this new singleness, and I kind of like it. And I'm excited about figuring out who I am on this path going forward. That relationship doesn't hinder me in any way. And at this point, I'm ready for a new one. I'm ready to explore what bringing who I am and who I've grown into to the table with someone else who has grown into their big age of why are you not married? And see what we can do together and explore happiness together, because I'm happy with me. So, or you can shorten it to because I'm happy with me. But I think, excuse me, I think that is probably the best answer, to just, kind of mention that you were in a long-term relationship. That person is not a factor anymore. We're not co-parenting. That person will never be back in the picture. And that's all I'm going to say about that at this time, until we get to know each other a little more. How about you? I'm happy with who I am. I'm ready to share that with someone else and move forward and grow into whatever we could bring together. What have you got to bring to the table? Why are you single? And I think that you can go from there. Those are the three, guys. Thank you so much for coming and watching this video. I hope this helped you to be the confident person you really are on the inside. Get in there and be able to have a good conversation with somebody who's actually interested in who you are, what is ahead of you, and how to be part of that, rather than focusing on what you were and how you got here. I hope that this is helping you have good conversations with people and get to know those things about them, how you can add to their future, or if they're looking for something that looks like you, and if happiness and to them looks like happiness to you. And that is the goal of dating in the first place. So I hope these questions, these three things, were good for you to help your first date with somebody be awesome. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. I don't think I said my name at all. So I'll do the intro again. Hey, Widow Sisters, this is Maya Dion, your favorite widow coach, from originally the Bounceback Project, now to Finding Next You Coaching Academy, and coming from my business that I put together and created as a widowed mom myself, Widows Do Bounceback LLC. In these videos, I'm going to be walking you through all of the things that help you be the best you going forward. Hashtag next you. So hang on, or maybe just scratch that part out. So I'll end at hashtag next you, that part. So yes, you can cut that into there. Yeah. Yeah. Just in case you need more for the intro, say begin with the hair. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see. Widows Do Bounce Back was founded in 2018, and it was founded because I was a widowed mom just like you. I had a bunch of questions. I was extremely young to be a widow, and I was 27. I was 27 years old, and I had so many questions about how to live, how to be, how to step into this next version of me confidently and not feel like I had so much stacked against me. I had questions about finance. I had questions about raising kids. I had questions about dating and questions about finding myself. I had questions about growing into the space that my husband left behind and actually being happy again one day, the possibility of that. And I had nobody to really guide me because widow coaches weren't really a thing back then. So I set out at that time to be the change I sought. And that's what happened here with Widows Do Bounce Back LLC. So welcome to my channel and thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Maya Dion and I am happy to be your favorite widow coach. Thanks for watching Dating in Widowland. I hope you loved what you saw here. I hope the information was so helpful for you. This is a series. If you're looking for more in-depth, really juicy, awesome information from someone who actually dated and remarried in Widowland, please check out the rest of the series below. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them below. I always answer my comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.